Unleash the power. Unleash the power.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Ruckus Room. I'm here today with Alan and Will, and we're going to talk about a topic that's a little controversial in our area, about releasing juvenile photos when they're charged with a crime. There are so many mixed emotions about this. Honestly, I don't know how you guys feel. I'm a little mixed about this whole thing. But there were some kids over at Matanzas High School, a couple different instances in the last few weeks that kids' pictures had been sent out through the sheriff's department all over social media and blasted. And I was reading the comments, and I thought this was a pretty interesting subject to talk about. Will, I'm sure with your experience with this, it's definitely different. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't think that kids are mentally able to handle humiliation like that publicly. Okay. And nowadays, it's so out there. Like you would just, before it was like in a paper. If you didn't get the paper, you didn't see it. Now it's reaching hundreds of thousands of people within a few hours, and everybody gets to chime in on you being a bad parent because your kid did something wrong. That kid going to school and being bullied now, and there's so many things that can go along with this. Look, what is your feelings on this?
Well, let's say the job of the sheriff's office is to serve and protect, right, the public.
Right.
So I'll take the other side on this one. Well, these were felonies committed, right? What type of crimes are we talking about?
Not to interrupt.
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah.
But I like to interrupt.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The job of the sheriff's department is not to serve and protect.
Okay.
It's to.
You stand corrected.
It's to enforce the law.
Well, it is to enforce the law. I was getting to that too, but not in,
But if you look,
not change it. Right.
If you look, they used to say they were here to serve and protect. You won't find a cop car with that on it anymore,
right?
Because the law, it was challenged,
right?
And now their job is not to serve and protect. Their job is to enforce the law.
Enforce the law, right? Well, which the law does state, and I'll let you go on this one, is 95.04 statute. Let me see, Section 2, the names, photographs, addresses, and crimes or arrest reports of a child taken into custody by a law enforcement officer for the violation of law, if committed by an adult, would be a felony. Let's say if an adult committed this crime, and it would be a felony, are not considered confidential and or exempt from public disclosure, just because of the child's age. Now that's state law.
Well, and that's why I want to ask you: how are we getting away with that if it is a state statute that if a minor does something? So that everybody understands, if they get charged with a felony, then it can be exposed.
It can be exposed if it's charged with a felony. Let's say if it were committed by an adult, a crime that was committed by an adult and is considered a felony. Yes. Now, in misdemeanors, that's up for debate.
Well, these two girls that we're talking about in particular go to Matanzas High School and apparently burglarized vehicles on campus. They took people's credit cards.
Felony.
They're charged with larceny.
Stupid.
Right.
I mean, how stupid can you be?
Stupid.
And honestly, your
Right.
picture should be out there for being an idiot.
Yeah, really, I
Death
mean,
by conversion.
how
Yes.
can you think there aren't cameras all over the place around
kidding.
a school?
That's right.
That's and so you skip class, which is
They use credit cards to go to Goodwill to purchase stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
Death by conversion. Right.
But with the cameras nowadays, again, hello guys, stop being dumb. Like,
right. That was very stupid.
You're gonna go shopping. They're gonna get you on
Well,
camera. They got
but
you in the
know
parking
what?
lot going through cars.
Let's
think about this.
It may have saved us some. I mean, what if they wanted someday to become a doctor? We would have the stupidest doctor.
Well, I know, right?
No, we got saved. We got saved.
Yeah,
They ain't going to be a doctor
You're right.
anymore.
You're right.
And the other thing, if
true.
these people, do you think this will ruin their future?
I hope so.
Don't
be stupid.
If they get
Yeah.
expunged,
At that
if
level.
they don't do
If the kid was in 5th grade, okay, kids in high school.
Yeah, 16, 17-year-olds.
If you aren't smart enough at that stage to know right and wrong, or doing stuff in an area where you're going to get caught, which is stupid and you shouldn't do it anyway, you know what? We got saved.
So you think that if they go back to school and they get the bullying, they get the humiliation, that they kind of deserve what they got and they'll learn a lesson?
Well, I don't think they're going to get back to school. They'll probably get expelled.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I'll chime in on both of you guys here. Now, when it comes to, let's say, a gang using minors to commit major offenses, murders,
Right.
aggravated assaults, everything you got on the list. Well, they may use of course, gangs use minors. That's so they can get, let's say, certain crimes committed, and even money laundering, and so on, because they feel that the system won't be as strict or as hard on a minor. So that might be the reason why. I've worked in gang units before, and even
But if these two were with the gang, it's got to be called. The gang name should be
Retards.
Dumbass.
Right. Well, of course. Now,
Because then
We
you
are
go
not
over to
smart.
Goodwill and buy stuff. I mean, first off, if you're going to steal a credit card and you're going to use it, Goodwill ain't the place to do it.
no, of course
Yeah,
not.
but
No.
Go to the Apple store and buy the most expensive computer.
No, it's more
Why,
shocking.
if you're going to get in
They're
trouble,
girls.
make it worth it.
Like,
Well-
girls are stealing. Like, I would never have thought, like, you think that kids or, like, dumb boys would be, like, teenage boys. We're talking about 2 girls here. And the other kid that I'm talking about, he got trouble because he was in an altercation, and the resource officer came to break up the altercation. He accidentally, when he was throwing his punches, hit the resource officer, and now he got charged. And he's publicly all over the place. And when I was reading the comments, though, a lot of these people are attacking the parents and saying your kid's this way because of you. I disagree with that, because kids make their own mind up. They're very immature. They do things, and just because if you're a single mom and you work your ass off and you do stuff and you're trying to raise your child as best as you can, and he makes a dumb decision, that's not a reflection of you. I mean, some kids that get raised right,
Well, a lot of
aren't
kids
good,
are going to be rebellious anyway.
Right,
Of course,
right,
of
especially at
course.
that age. I
Right.
don't think this is a parent issue, and that's what got my attention a lot, because like his football coach said, I know this kid and his family, this is not him. And then you got this other woman chiming in, well, he shouldn't have done that then, and it is their fault. They should discipline him more. But also, we don't have the discipline we had when we were younger. You can't do that to your kids anymore.
No,
And
no.
it's totally different times. And
That's right.
The kid will call child services.
yeah,
Oh,
they
of
can threaten to
course,
call
of
child
course.
service, and then you get in trouble for the littlest thing. I mean, it's ridiculous the things that people are getting, or that
right.
you get in trouble for now because people believe teenage kids over adults and all that crap. I mean, hello, but I mean, it goes around,
That's right.
and I don't think it's the kid's fault though, or the parents' fault, and like even some of them think they should be charged for it. The parent should be charged. Like there was a lady whose son got caught speeding on a 360 app. Several times the kid got caught speeding, and the mom yelled at him in a text message saying, if you speed again, you're going to get the car taken away. Well, she didn't take the car away, and the kid ended up killing somebody and got into an accident. Now they went through the text messages. Guess who's going to get charged now? The mom, because you knew your kid was doing that and you didn't stop it. And you see how it's kind of spiraling where it's going in another direction where you will be held accountable for your kid's dumb actions.
Yes, but it's been that way for a long time. If your minor child breaks something, or whatever, then the adult is responsible for the cost of
That's right.
repair.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's been that way.
Well, this whole thing didn't really start until the sheriff down in Daytona started that with all the schools, the kids that were threatening to bomb the schools. What's his name?
Chitwood?
Chitwood.
Yeah.
So when he started it, then I noticed we piggybacked him and started releasing minors. If you didn't notice, like he stood up and
Well,
said,
what
They don't do it in
what
football.
what I find interesting about it, and I don't really know the facts behind it, but we don't release adults' pictures.
sometimes we do. That
Yeah,
sheriff.
but no, in Flagler County at least, they're no longer releasing mugshots.
Really?
See, I see him on Flagler on the Facebook app all the time. Like they just did a drug bust
Well,
with like 4 people that were on there, and pedophiles. They always
Yes.
do.
Well,
And-
have to.
But if you go, like for instance, we had somebody potentially steal stuff from us here, and that mugshot never appeared.
So, do you think that this is? I'm just gonna throw this out there.
So they're putting kids ones out, but
Would-
not
do
adults.
you
they take
think
it
that
into
they're
custody?
picking and choosing?
Excuse me.
Like, do you think like maybe these are personal vendetta, or like do you think they're
Oh, I
getting
don't
to
like
pick and
like I
choose?
said, I don't know the facts behind it. I just know that we don't print in Flagler County anyway mugshots, but the kids' pictures.
Well, the Palm Coast
are coming up.
Observer and Flagler Live doesn't have any problem with posting mugshots because that's where these kids' mugshots went into online, and the sheriff's department.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I like I said, I don't know the facts behind the whole thing,
Yeah.
but it I know that there are
Interesting.
some mugshots that should be there. That when you look it up, it's just a gray picture outline of a person with a question mark in the middle of it, and there's no mugshot.
Right.
Well, do you think the parents should be held accountable, or that people should say it's the parents' fault when their kid does dumb crap?
There's a level of responsibility.
This is
To a
why it's
point.
so
To a point.
controversial.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
To
a,
a point.
yeah, there's a level of responsibility that the parent has to take, especially.
I guess if it's a multiple offender, then yes, I
Well-
would say
well-
we got to do something different here. But
Mm-hmm.
what do you think? Like, you see a lot of this. You see multiple offenders with kids that are just going down the wrong path.
Oh, of course. I mean,
Do you think it's the parents' issue
no.
then?
Well, it's parents' responsibility to a point, but let's say they can't control.
Yeah, that's the
child.
other thing that Alan was
the
talking
system
about.
steps in,
Right.
And that's unfortunate, But
Yeah.
the child has to grow up and obviously
But even in
get
that case,
tired
you
of
don't
it.
think the kid's going to be more rebellious with the system? I mean, he's going to be pissed off that now he's going to be in a foster home or somewhere he doesn't want to be, and they think that's going to be better psychologically for this child?
Well, one of the issues you have to look at is the parenting.
Right, and the mental health of the
Right.
child.
And if
too,
the
or
parent's not parenting and there's a mental health issue, then yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the kid's better off not being there.
right.
Not that I like that idea, but
Right.
I mean, let's face it,
Mm-hmm.
if the parent can't stop the kid or teach the kid,
Mm-hmm.
or if the kid's not listening, which is 99% of it,
I think it's
Job
just
of
men
the
in general, but hey.
Yeah, that's
Then-
the job of the correctional facilities and
Yeah.
the local enforcement.
What do you think about the child who was defending himself and was swinging because there was an altercation and accidentally hit the resource officer, and now they're like going after him?
Well, what happens when
If it's
police?
an accident,
what
like
if
he didn't
you're-
go up to the resource officer and actually punch him. Like
If
this was
you're-
an accident in the middle of a brawl.
If you're in an altercation with someone and the police show up, what do you do?
You're supposed to stop,
Okay,
but these kids didn't stop. And
Right.
if
So
he was
then they
defending-
became
okay.
responsible for
Then
their
they're
actions.
responsible for their actions. Right.
Okay.
There you go. Because then you involve the officer, and then there's the officer safety, and if you hurt an officer, what's going to happen?
They're
Yeah.
going to read you the riot act.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yes. If you're able to walk away from. So
yeah.
This reminds me of that kid that was a special needs kid a few years ago that hit that lady.
Oh,
and
he
took
didn't
away
hit
the
her. He
iron-
beat the snot out of her.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was
but the
brutal.
thing is, he cognitively had the level of a younger child, and
right.
you take his security away, which was the iPad. I have autistic nieces and nephews, and I know when you take their security away, they go nuts. They literally do, like my little one throws a temper tantrum and all that.
So what it really should break down to in that instance, in my opinion, is should that kid have been there?
No, I firmly believe that whole situation was not. I don't believe the woman deserved what she got, obviously, but I think she should have had done something differently, and he should not have been in that environment. He should have been with special needs kids.
That's my
And
point.
now I think he's sitting in jail.
Trained
So
professionals.
he isn't. I think he is in jail.
Yeah, which I don't
but
think is fair.
But the school itself,
yes,
in my opinion, is responsible for putting that kid in that position and not
Yeah.
having him in the proper.
That's correct.
well, and that's the thing, because they're like, we want them to feel normal. We want to show them, like, if they can in the work in the atmosphere.
Yeah, that's the woke crap.
and
I'm
all
glad
that.
that's
I know,
going
I
on.
know, but
I tell
Yeah,
you what,
I know.
that's just
Yeah.
It is.
people aren't equal.
No,
I'm
they're
sorry.
not, especially
People-
when they have mental
no.
disabilities.
on day
They
one,
require more
people
supervision.
Right.
on day one when you're born, you might be equal. Day two, that's already changed.
Right.
And as you grow up, then nobody equal anymore. Everybody has their own thing
that-
from their own actions, and the whole thing.
That child required more attention.
I remember reading that
Exactly.
story
Way
years ago
more
and being so
specialized.
irate about this because all the money that was raised and all of this stuff, and everyone's like, we just feel bad for the teacher. No one felt bad for the kid who was basically a voiceless kid. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like, we've
yes,
had ESE teachers on the show, Alan, that can attest to. They're voiceless. And to put him in behind bars now, because he was a 6 foot tall kid. He just brutally had the strength, and he didn't know. I mean, obviously, I don't know how they.
I'm
got
not
him.
sure if he should be behind bars
No,
or
I don't
put
think
in
he
a
should.
place where he could be properly taken care of. That's not a
Right.
prison.
The
Right,
school should have
right.
put him with other kids in different. When I was growing
Yeah.
up, I don't know about you guys, we always had ESE classes for kids that need, but then a certain
Yeah.
sporting events and different things, they would come out and integrate with the normal activities.
I got to be honest.
No,
I
they
don't
didn't.
remember any of that stuff when I was in
Are you
school.
serious?
We had ESC.
I don't.
Did you have vaccines? I know we're going to talk about this later, but did you have vaccines when you were younger? Like, man, that you had to have all of this stuff.
I think we had like
The
measles and
mumps, rubella, other stuff like that.
that stuff from
But
way
you didn't
back.
hear
then.
about autism or special needs or anything
Not
like
back
that.
then.
We
No.
no, we just
Downs?
we just
Nothing.
I don't remember any of it. You know.
I mean,
and I'm
you
sad.
don't remember
Okay, so
or it didn't happen.
yes to both.
Okay. All right.
But
So many questions.
but
Oh, boy.
this year, it's scary to even say it. It really
Yep.
is scary
Oh,
to say
yeah.
it. But this year is my 45th high school reunion.
Wow.
That's my age.
I know.
Going
That's what I'm
into
saying.
my
It's
age.
scary to say it.
Oh my god.
But so
he's
you
just
know,
teasing.
and my
Say anything.
yeah, I like
Say
that.
anything.
Will, we're
So-
twinning, Will.
So going back in time to when I remember school and high school as much as I can remember it 45 years ago. I mean, we had an area that was a smoking area, so the kids that smoked could go into this little area and with parents' permission, and they could smoke. I mean, that kind of stuff was allowed. Now I'm from up in Maine, so
Okay, yeah, all right.
Your parents got to sign off. You could smoke in the area if you're
At
under
school.
18.
yes. And then
Wasn't there a law saying you couldn't smoke till you're 18? Or buy 'em?
that's these days.
That was these days now.
You know, even the
Okay.
drinking 21 and all that, it
18.
used to be 18.
Right. It used to be 18
I
because you
think
go
it
in the
should be.
military.
You're gonna
Well,
be
I'm
in the
not
military,
arguing that. I'm
yeah.
just saying.
You go in the
But,
military.
but we had back then, kids wanted to go hunting in the afternoon
You could
after
buy
school.
You could buy a 12 gauge
No,
or
they-
a rifle.
Yeah, but they
At
had it in
18.
their window
Right,
rack
right.
in their truck at school.
Right.
Nobody cared.
Right.
Nobody said anything.
Right.
That's
That's before
but
school
there was no yes, it was
Right,
before
right.
people
Yeah, you
went
have school
nuts.
shit, yeah.
It was before timeout.
Right.
I have
Yeah.
firmly believed
Yeah.
timeout screwed things up.
Yeah.
No, the good old ass whooping that you got from your dad if you
That
looked
took
at
care of the
Oh,
problem.
that did.
because
Yeah.
because when I was in school back
I
then,
respected my parents.
yeah, because they, the thing is, you want me to tell your dad?
Yeah, exactly.
And you
had the
tremble.
fear of God.
And,
You
you
tremble.
brought up a great point because a hunting rifle versus where everyone is, freaking out about AR
AR-15s,
style
yeah.
or AR style rifles, sort of. And I put that in quotes because they're not AR rifles at all. They're maybe in the shape of it, but these are basically still the same semi-automatic rifles.
They're a smaller
It's just-
caliber.
they're right. They're just smaller caliber. That's the thing about it because
Yeah.
a 308 or 30-aught,
A 30-06 is what most people went deer hunting with.
yes, and that's way worse. than-
Way.
yes.
That doesn't make a little hole.
No.
That blows you apart.
Yes,
Yes.
It's just nothing but meat. Yeah, no.
I have one. I mean, that's
Yeah,
what we go
I
hunting
too.
with.
Yeah,
You know, so the AR-15,
It's a much smaller.
it's a
round.
much smaller. So
It's more of them, but
Yeah,
But-
you get hit with a 30-06.
Oh, that's it.
You don't
No.
need the second round.
of course not. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's the point. Yeah, it's meant for large game.
Yeah, and there's guns. There's hunting guns that are the typical wooden rifle looking, wooden stock rifle looking
Right.
thing that shoots the same round as the AR-15.
That's right, that's
but
right.
it doesn't look like a military
It just
weapon.
doesn't look like a military
It
weapon.
just doesn't
Some-
look. It's a
some have-
look.
Yeah,
you know?
detachable cartridges. You can have a cartridge with 5 or 10 rounds, but still,
Do you think
just
the difference is nowadays is because the kids are not getting disciplined? That's why they're acting like assholes and doing crap like this, school shootings and different things? Or do you think there's just a lot of more mental illness?
I think it has to do with the father and the family and the
Yes.
and the broken broken nuclear family unit. I think a lot of times the mom, who typically through the courts ends up with custody, has a child that they can't handle.
Well, it's like, in my situation, like my son, for instance, he's 16. His dad hasn't been around in years. He lives 5-10 minutes away. All of a sudden now DeSantis came with a 50-50 law. And so now he just come back, I'm going to want 50-50 custody now because I don't want to pay you child support.
or as much.
And then, thank God, we have good court systems here that actually see through the bullshit. Well, some of them do. And he has to take a reunification to go back to see him. But if that doesn't work out, he doesn't just get granted it. But this is Dad's choices, too, that are making because, he hasn't been...
I'm not saying
Yeah.
100%.
He hasn't been to any events,
I
and
mean, if
that's
the
all on
dad
me.
doesn't want to be involved, that's on the
yeah.
dad.
That's on to that, right?
But what I'm saying is that divorce didn't used to be the common default.
No.
No.
You know?
No.
So, if the kid's with the dad or the kid's with the mom, either way, you got boyfriend or girlfriend number one comes in, they're gone 2 months later, boyfriend number two,
Yep.
boom,
stable.
boom,
There's-
that's not stable. So the kid then just like,
And the kid may not show respect, of course,
Right.
because they see, different
And the-
people coming in and out of.
So
And
you
the kid
think
just
it's
starts to feel like
the
furniture.
The kids needs like
It's sad.
male, a good role model that's a male and a strong.
Both.
Male and female.
Both.
It's both.
Female. Yeah.
Both male and female. Both sides, yes, working together.
I can just say that's what it used to be.
Well, it used to be.
Oh yeah.
And we didn't have the school shootings.
Like I said, when we were
and-
younger,
and
we
all
didn't
of
hear
that.
about divorces. Your parents stuck it out whether the shit was good or not. I mean, you didn't.
I don't
hear
even know
about
how
divorce.
my
Oh,
parents
yeah.
because if I was my dad,
Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, every once in a while you see a couple plates flying or you hear a couple things, but you handled that crap, and then like now my parents are more in love than they ever have been. It's kind of cute.
oh
They bought a
yeah,
cabin, they're doing their thing.
because you know what it is.
That
is
generation didn't believe in that stuff.
Time.
we used to live, back then, not long after the Depression is, well, my parents were born during the Depression, but not long after the Depression, even like with tinfoil, you saved your piece of tinfoil for the next use. You
That's
you
right.
reused, you kept, you recycle, not recycled as in throwing trash into a recycling bin, but you recycled what you had.
Right.
You had clothes that were hand me down, all of that.
Yeah.
Today, it is.
So weird.
Replacement.
Right.
You just
You want the shiny
You
new
just
thing all
want
the
the
time.
shiny
and
new
things
thing
don't
and
go
throw
right.
away the
And
old.
it's
throw
accepted.
exactly.
Like,
There's no
Yeah,
trying to continue to
well, now
reuse
you
something.
have
Why try to
dating
fix
web.
it?
It's so easy, social media, to reach out
Yeah.
to other people.
And-
Things are right. Dating
And-
websites. a whole bunch of
exactly.
stuff.
So what happened was, in my mind, we went from the nuclear family that tried to skimp and save, and we had a one paycheck family back then too,
Yeah.
and try to live off what you had to live beyond your means, two paycheck family. Divorce splits up, kids like a piece of furniture that gets thrown back and forth like a ping pong ball, and
And the media.
you and then you got the social media
Oh, yeah.
where dating apps,
Oh, God.
both men and women on dating apps
That's
are
right.
there. Not all dating apps,
No,
but
no.
there are dating apps that they're there for one reason and one reason
Right.
only.
That's right.
We're
And
lonely. We need a hookup.
yeah, and so the whole thing,
We'll never go on those things.
the
Please.
whole thing becomes
Well, I'm gonna be almost 45.
It was funny because we had a conversation earlier. I said, you want the 20-year-old. I was just kidding with them because guys, when they're at that age, they go through the midlife crisis. They want like
Oh,
something
whatever.
shiny and new
Hey,
that's
man,
half
my
their
age.
age.
Oh, no,
And I said to him that, and
You're
he
older
says-
than I am.
He goes, "Have you been on a dating app?" I said, "No, I don't go." He goes, "There's no 20-year-olds on dating apps." And
Why
they're
would a
doing that.
20-year-old have to be
Yeah,
on a dating app?
It was funny.
Yeah. I was
well, I
like,
can tell you that
The crazy ones, the 40-year-olds.
a younger friend of mine that used to work for me, and you know who you are.
Oh, this is going awry.
I don't know that he still is, because now he actually works, but so he doesn't have time. But he used to do, what was it? Snapchat, I think it
Oh
was.
God, it's horrible. I
and-
call it Snatch Chat because
and-
it's bad. it's
but-
so bad.
But
Who uses that crap?
he did. Well, he did, and
just
and
post
it
all
was
the
it was
pictures.
one purpose only, and he was
Really?
he
Oh
was-
yeah, because it deletes it right away.
Yeah, I
That's
know
how
it
men
does.
get
Yeah,
away with this.
but he was under 20.
and
And the other girls, well, he was a guy, obviously, but the girls also under 20.
Okay.
And,
So that's what the new 20-year-olds are. That's why they're not
so-
on the dating apps because they're using Snapchat.
Snapchat.
But they're not
Exactly.
finding anyone on Snapchat though.
Oh, he
no. My son's
2-3
friends,
times a day.
My son's friends that are 18, or 17 and 18. Now he played football and did stuff with. They were on that religiously, and they all had girlfriends, but they were talking to all those other girls. How they're doing, I don't know.
They're doing that as
We'll
well.
come
The
out,
parents
but-
won't find out, of course.
Well, that too. It deletes it, so
It
nobody.
deletes, yeah.
Unless somebody clears your, or goes through your iCloud, doesn't it keep it?
I don't have any idea about that.
But yeah, but there's some
Stuff
scandalous
is saved
stuff.
everywhere.
Right.
Yeah,
Anything that goes
exactly.
over that is not
Exactly.
It's on
gone.
a server. It's not
It's
gone.
gross
Yeah.
though. It's just so gross that our
Well, but
society
but
accepts
like this.
this.
Well, that's my point. We
Yeah.
went from a nuclear family that tried to stay together if at all possible, even if they hated each other, typically for the kids,
Right.
Right.
to a throwaway society,
Right.
which is where we are now. So
That's sad. That's
you,
sad.
you have an argument, no, you're gone. On to the next.
Right.
And
That's
we're in the
what it is.
awkward phase of the transition part of it. Like all of us are kind of like this is what it was when we grew up. Why? But we're having to cater or try to change because our kids are growing up in
I'm
this.
changing.
Why the social media
They
is
gotta
talking
change.
about?
Yeah, they got it.
Well, why the social media is changing because they're releasing the minor mugshots to go along, and I guess everyone's in agreement that you do the crime, you're gonna have to deal with the consequences.
You have to deal with the consequences, but I do agree that the consequences for minors should be tried at a different level than an adult.
So you
Right.
think
I mean, if you murder somebody, that's a different
Well,
story.
well, yeah.
But
you
you know,
think the social media, the way like they blasted those two girls for vandalizing the cars and like the kid who hit the resort, like you think that all of that's justified? That
I don't think bullying's justified. No,
No.
but I don't think you're gonna. I don't
Well,
think
is
you're
it
gonna be able to
bullying?
avoid it.
Is it bullying if they just post their picture to spread awareness of what happened?
No, that's different. But when you
Okay.
start blasting everywhere, and then you come on with all the comments,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes, that's
then
Do you
excuse
think
me,
it's
then it becomes
harassment for the
bullying.
parents of that child that now are getting scrutinized in the public also?
Well, it's harassment all the way around, but we have to take into account free speech and all that stuff. And,
Yeah, that's
and,
true. Okay.
You know, so
There's just too much, Will. Well,
Yeah.
it's like that kid, the one kid who was the track player. You see, I don't know I forgot what state it was, but the track player, the one kid was on the wrong side and he went under the tent and he said,
oh
to
yeah,
him,
yeah.
well, first of all, why are you bringing a knife to a track event?
Right. That's not
I mean,
self-defense.
we went to
though.
Disney the other day, and you can't even get in there with a pocket knife or nothing. Like you're not allowed. I know it's not Disney World, but still, you're a teenage kid. What the hell are you carrying a pocket knife at a track meet for?
I don't think you're allowed to at a
I
school.
don't think you're allowed to
Second
anymore.
of all, you're on the wrong side. Third of all, if you're defending yourself, you don't stab somebody in the heart.
No, you don't stab someone multiple times either if you're defending.
Because this is
someone.
another big one that's going all over
Yeah.
social media
Yes.
now. Like,
Yeah.
he was defending himself. Bullshit. You
Well,
punch
if
him.
the other guy didn't have a knife, he didn't defend himself.
Exactly.
Yeah, you have
exactly.
to have a
That's the
same
thing. I was
force,
defending
same
myself,
level.
and the other guy shot me with a gun right in my head. You know,
Right,
it's like,
right.
where's the line here? But that parent should have known the
Knives-
son was bringing stuff
Well,
around.
knives are difficult when it comes to self-defense. Using a knife and then justifying it, I don't care. Even
his
if
heart.
it's just in anywhere in the body. Stabbing someone's a little different than, let's say, shooting someone,
Yeah.
hitting someone with a club or a stick.
Very personal.
When you stab someone, it's going to be perceived as you trying to kill that person.
Yeah.
That's not more of a defensive weapon.
His poor brother had to hold him, his twin brother, while he died, literally there because no one could get help for him in time.
Well, I know, but like I said,
That's-
I know but that I did this particular say study, and I noticed that a guy was let's say doing security, and we did checked him out and everything like that, but you can't use it. He's in a different country, used a knife and saying that he was a security guard. We did a review of it, and we're like, no security guards or officers use knives. Whatever happens to a club or anything or a extendable baton, no. So that's when you knew the guy was lying.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's really personal. Like, it's
Oh,
just,
yes.
I don't know. There's something with it
And
that's
multiple
just...
times too. No. And in the heart, like you said.
Well, it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah.
You murdered somebody. You murdered somebody.
that's it. You murder someone, right?
Right. You know, the situation. If the other guy had a knife and he's attacking you,
That's
and
different.
then
Yep.
you got self. If the other guy threw a punch at you, so you stab him in the heart.
No.
That's a whole different
Well,
game.
with that
No,
one
yeah.
too, there I guess is a racist or
Mm-hmm.
the racial component, because one was white and one was black. and
Yeah, well,
got all
the
that,
white
but-
guy's the one that got stabbed.
I know.
Right. He got stabbed.
So it's
Yeah.
not like the white guy was attacking the black guy. You know, even if he
All
threw
he
a
said
punch.
was, "Can you
but
please
even
move
though
out of
I-
my seat" or something
like-
like
it's
that.
like-
if somebody said that to me, I'd just shoot him.
It's like the Zimmerman.
Yeah.
You're right. Right. But it's,
Oh my God!
But it's like the
I am
Zimmerman
never
fight.
going to ask you to be behind that desk.
It's like the Trayvon Martin and Zimmerman.
Yes.
The kid was
Yeah.
unarmed. He had a can of tea or something.
Well,
and then
I
Yeah.
still,
Skittles. Yeah, you can't shoot
I
somebody
still
unarmed.
think I don't know.
It's just-
I still think that Zimmerman was not just comfortable with him, like the whole situation, because I don't think that was I don't think the kid attacked him.
Well, even if he didn't have a weapon.
No, I know
I
he
mean,
couldn't even defend himself.
I mean, what, he had a can of tea or something?
Yes,
yeah,
yeah, I
no,
know.
it's
It's just crazy that our world's coming. It's like
Yeah.
I go to a high school event, and I have to worry like people have freaking knives and stuff here. Like,
Oh,
is this
yeah.
normal?
Now it is.
It
Yeah.
is. It's
is.
crazy.
And desensitize them.
And if it is, they need to put metal detectors.
Now,
in
is
these
it video
damn-
games that are desensitizing people?
Oh
No, I
God!
think-
The ones that shoot and stab people.
Some
Yeah.
are, some
And
are.
you push
yeah.
a reset.
My son's on
Yeah,
some
they're
of them. I'm
fine.
like,
You know,
what the
there's
heck?
Maybe
Yeah.
some Grand Theft Auto games, something like that. But
Yeah, it's people. I mean, if you look at horror movies, like back in the day, like the original Exorcist was like
Oh
the
my
horror
God.
movie of my time
Oh.
When
back
her
then.
head spun around and she projectile vomited, I couldn't sleep for 6 months.
But
Reminds me of
the
an ex,
Gotta
huh?
lie on-
but the thing of it is, it scared you.
Oh, of course.
Nowadays, something like that in a movie is more like a comedy thing.
Or if you see it
doesn't
out in
scare
public,
you.
you're like,
Okay.
And now you got
yeah.
the hack and slash, and people
Yeah.
getting, they moved into the Halloween movies and the
Yeah.
and the Nightmare on Elm Street movies and stuff. It got, more graphic, and the more graphic it gets, the more desensitized you get. So I think that's where we stand today. But I think we're running out of time.
Yep,
Yes,
that's
we are.
fine. Well, thanks for
On this
joining
one.
us, everybody. We're going to talk about more controversial stuff next week. I can't wait.
Sounds great.
Have a great day, guys.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.